So I wanted to start off by saying that this video ended up a whole lot bigger than it was meant to, because as I was writing I just kept getting more and more ideas, and that even happened while I was filming. So what I've done is divided this video into two parts. So part one is general information for those with ADHD and also the family unit. So if you've got a loved one with ADHD, this is going to be helpful for you. And the second video is for adults, and I really listened to those of you who said, hey, you know what, I'm an adult with ADHD and I have very limited resources in terms of a support system or money of my own. And so that's why I made the second video. So it's got a lot of things that are either really low cost or completely free. So check them both out. Be sure to comment and subscribe if you like my channel. Hi, I'm Kristen. Welcome to Living and Learning with ADHD. I'm 34 years old and I'm from Australia, and I'm a qualified university learning support and secondary school teacher. I also have inattentive ADHD. Believe it or not, yes, there's one that isn't hyperactive. This girl's got it. Something else I thought I would mention is that the tips and tricks on my videos are also useful for those on the autistic spectrum and related conditions and their loved ones, as well as ADHD. Now, if there's one life hack that I would recommend, it's this: reduce the number of steps in your daily tasks. One of the main questions I get asked by loved ones is, how do I get my child, teenager or adult with ADHD to do their day-to-day tasks? Why can't they do that the same as their siblings? Are they just putting it on? And it can lead to a lot of guilt and shame for the person with ADHD, and also a lot of frustration just for everyone involved. I really wanted to share these tips with you, enable yourself and your loved ones to come up with some solutions and frankly just not have to go through all of that. As an adult, it's really easy for us to get a case of compareitis. So you'll see someone without ADHD doing these things and you think, wow, that looks so easy. And then sometimes you'll think, hey, you know what, I'm a smart person, I'm going to go out there and try and do it exactly like they do. And then the wheels fall off. You got to make it work for you. ADHD often affects the executive function or short-term memory part of our brain, which can be a bit confusing for our loved ones because often our long-term memory is ridiculously good. I'm talking we can remember TV jingles from when we were 5, random facts about our special interests, and often something embarrassing that you said 1 decade ago. However, it's executive functioning that we're using for our day-to-day tasks. And I'm going to say it again, reduce the number of steps in that task. You want to give your loved one with ADHD tasks that only require maybe 1 or 2 steps. So some good examples are taking out the bins, mowing the lawn, feeding the pets, or my personal favorite, vacuuming. You can spend 5 minutes and you've done the entire house. It's so satisfying. It's simple, it's done, and it boosts morale. So if you give them lots of chores with lots and lots of steps in each chores, you're going to have a bad time. Some examples of this might be asking someone to wash and dry up all the dishes at once. Laundry, because you have to sort it, wash it, hang it out, bring it in and fold it. Another really hard one for us adults is everything that's involved around shopping, cooking and cleaning up when you prepare your own meals. So I'm going to be doing a video specifically for that, so keep an eye out for it. It's called My Distracted Kitchen. And those with executive function issues, personal favorite, no, not really, it's cleaning your entire room. Do you have any idea how many tiny little steps are in doing that? Whenever my mum would, try to help me in the monster that was cleaning my room, I would often, just pick up a book and zero in on that and then ignore everything else. It was like I was hyper-focusing on something that was a comfort to me. So rather than screaming and shouting and chucking a tantrum, it was my polite, somewhat infuriating but still polite way of saying, you know what, this is too much for me, there are too many steps here. That being said, there's going to be times where you and your loved ones. So the first tip is, tip number 1, have a bit of a think about. So you can think about, could the person without ADHD be doing the tasks that have more steps, and could the person with ADHD be doing the tasks with fewer steps? Obviously, if you're a parent, you want to be looking at making things as equal as you can. So perhaps if the child who doesn't have ADHD is doing one big task that has multiple steps, your child with ADHD could be doing several that have just 1 or 2. Tip number 2 would be to actually write down the steps of the task that they're doing. It may seem really, really obvious, but For those of us who have the executive function challenges, it's really, really hard to remember each of the steps, and we may actually forget in between going from step 1 to step 2 in that task. So it really helps us to have it there to reinforce that. Step number 3 is to actually do the harder tasks with them as a team. So something that's a bit more complex and has more steps, like doing the laundry, you might say, well, you know what, I've sorted out this washing. Do you mind just taking this basket and turning it on in the washing machine for me? Thank you. Another example might be to say, hey, I'm going to wash the dishes now. Would you mind just drying them with me? So it lets them be a part of it without having them get too overwhelmed. Tip number 4 is to make it fun. I can't emphasize this enough. Praise them. Praise them often, praise them regularly. You know, some of us spend our whole lives going with people just constantly picking out our deficits. Praise is like oxygen. You know, it really keeps us going. You can also tie it in with a reward system. So a lot of clinical evidence shows that stickers, as a result of that, can really help to just get good habits started. And then if you're adults, once you're done for the day, you can reward yourself. You can always ask the person with ADHD what might motivate them. So it might be a snack, glass of wine, or a favorite TV show. Enjoy. So there you have it. I really hope these tips have helped you and your loved ones. In the words of the rapper Ice-T from that "You Can Do It, Put Your Back Into It" life is not a track meet, it's a marathon. It's going to take a little while for yourself and your loved ones to sort of settle into this routine and find out what works for you. So feel free to cherry pick, tweak, and do whatever works in your household. I'd really love to hear what's worked for you and your loved ones, so don't hesitate to leave a comment, share on Facebook. Anything that's going to get the word out there and help others is great in my books. If this video has been useful, please subscribe to our channel. If you want to support what I'm doing further, please consider donating to my Patreon page. I've put the links down in the description. You'll be helping out those with ADHD and generally making the world a better place. Thanks so much. See you next time.